Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jesus de Aguilar, and for this week's video, we'll be talking about how I failed statistics 3 times and the tips and tricks I can help you to pass math. One of the first tips I can give you to pass math is it is okay to be scared. It is okay to be frustrated with math. Math is a thing that is hard to learn. It's kind of like you have to teach yourself how to ride a bike. That's how I can explain doing math for you. I think a lot of people have a lot of math anxiety and don't know what to do with that. I had a lot of math anxiety taking statistics 3 times, and I'm here to tell you that it is okay to feel those feelings. Write them down, talk to somebody, advise your professor, advise the TA, and say, hey, I'm kind of scared of math. Like, this is a subject I'm not very confident in. And, you know, sometimes doing that will reassure your confidence in math. Another thing is when we're taking a math course and it's a long day, or you plan to schedule some time for math, when you finally get to the first problem or the second problem, you look at it and you just keep rereading and rereading and rereading it until you try to force yourself to understand the concept. And I'm telling you from personal experience, that is not the right thing to do. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go and have a lot of anger and frustration with the math. And you're probably going to say, I'm done with this math class. This math class is getting me mad. I don't need this. This doesn't make sense. It's the teacher's fault. And I'm here to tell you it is not the teacher's fault. Yes, sometimes, occasionally, the teacher is a bad professor, but most of the times, that is false. One thing to do when you're having these thoughts of doubt or frustration or anger, whether that be directed at your professor, yourself, the math problem, I've been there. I've been angry at math. But the one thing I can give you advice is to take a step away from it. Forget about it for like 15, 20 minutes, or even an hour. Calm down. Take a deep breath. Do something that calms your nerves, whether that be taking a walk, working out, eating, listening to music, playing a video game, talking to your parents, talking to your family, or even friends. It will do wonders for you, because if you're having so much anxiety or overthinking or being scared or being angry, when you look at these math problems, you're not going to concentrate on the math itself, but rather those emotions that you're feeling towards math or those word problems or these equations, and you're not thinking fully. So if you do that and take a rest and come back and reassure yourself, I've got this, let's try it again, then you have an easier time understanding the math problem. I think that's the first step to know and understand that is it's okay. I don't know this. It's scary. I may get upset at this, but I can do it. I may need to take a break, but I can do it. The second piece of advice I can tell you is we don't know anything. We don't know everything. And that is okay, because we are here to learn. We are here to try to understand these concepts for the duration of your class period or your major or requirement. That is okay. I think sometimes we go into math and we have this expectation that we know how to do it or we can easily pick it up. And no, sometimes we don't know. And that is okay. And sometimes having that mindset will help you understand math. You'll have an open mind to math. I was open minded, even though I took the course 3 times already and failed pretty bad. I still had this optimistic attitude that I still have things to learn from this math course that I didn't take before, and I did. The third piece of advice I can give you is it's like mind blowing. This is like solving all the issues in the world, right? Get ready with me. Get ready. Ask for help. Ask your TA, ask your professor, ask your teacher for help if you don't understand something. I know it's very scary because of past experiences. I also had past experience where professors and teachers, I would ask them a math question on something that may be really easy to understand, but for me, it's just, sometimes things aren't really easy for me to understand. So I would ask these easy questions, and sometimes they would get mad or diminish me or try to embarrass me for not understanding an easy math concept. And I'm here to tell you that I'm sorry if that happened to you as well, but that should not stop you from asking for help. Like for me, after taking statistics for three times I failed. I think because I failed 3 times that I didn't have any more shame to ask questions. And you'd be surprised when you ask questions that some other students may have the same question but are too scared. And again, it's okay to feel scared because of past experiences and trauma from other teachers. But I'm here to tell you that not all teachers are like that, and some are there and very appreciative for you to ask questions because they understand that you're actually wanting to learn and participate in the course. So I would ask very questions like, how do I find sin, cosine on my TI-884 calculator? Like simple things like that. Or like, how do I punch in the equation for this statistic problem? I don't know how to do that. Can you show me again? Can you show me this part? How do I round these decimals? I would ask. I would raise my hand. Also, I'd sit in the front because I can't see. And I would ask. And you'd be surprised that other students in my class, in my course, had the same questions and also were scared to ask, but they feel more confident because you asked. You'd be surprised how other people are also in the same position as you in terms of not understanding things or may feel a certain way because it may be easy for somebody, but for you, you can't understand that. And some people feel the same way. So again, ask questions. Don't be ashamed because I guarantee you it will help you and help other students who are also struggling with math. The fourth piece of advice I'm going to give you is do not cram in these lessons or assignments. I'm going to repeat, do not cram your work or cram memorization. It will not work well. You will forget and not retain any of the information. When I would not study for exam or a quiz, I would try to use my notes the night before and just study, 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 study. And so a course like statistics, you cannot cram a day before. I don't know if you think you can. Some may think you can, but you cannot. Like you're lying because it's hard. One thing I recommend is taking notes, whether that be digitally or physically. I recommend both. For me, I would go over the lectures and the lecture slides and download them on my iPad. I would write down the notes, I would look through them, I'll go over the lecture, and I'll make myself some notes. After that, my professor would give us example problems. Please do the example problems because they will help you in your homework or quizzes or tests because most of the times they will be on the test or quiz. I realize that. And the study guide. But sometimes we don't get study guides. And what I would do is I would go in the lecture, I would write down the examples that they use to teach us, and I would write them down. And I would go back and do my homework and look back at those notes and compare how to do those math problems. I would look at my notes and look at the screen and I'm like, okay, this is a similar equation. Let me see the steps and see if I can do it. If I get something wrong, I would go back, I would circle it with a red pen or a black pen or a highlighter and see what I did wrong. I'm like, you did this step wrong. Ask the teacher for this step. And then I would write that in my physical notebook because you're more likely to retain information if you write it down on a piece of paper than digitally. I don't know. So that's what I would do. And I would look back at my notes again and study it, right? And I think it's very important that when you take notes that you write on the side, like I messed up on this part or this part I did not do well. And that is okay because that's how we learn, right? Instead of trying to memorize everything or try to do everything in one go, it's okay to make mistakes because that's how you learn. The fifth thing I would give is I know some people are not privileged to have their own room or sometimes it's very noisy. So what I would recommend for you to do to study for math specifically is go in your backyard or go to a park or go to your public library if you can, or you have the means, or go to your school library and hang out there and, study. Because I know for firsthand experience being first generation Mexican, like my house is always noisy. It is always noisy here. And like I can't study sometimes because it's so loud. So sometimes I wake up earlier or I'll stay up later when everyone's quiet and I'll take those times to study. Or sometimes if you have a relationship with your parents, I'll tell my parents sometimes, hey, like I'm trying to study, like I'm trying to do this test. Can you guys like not be so loud? And they would take that into consideration. And I know some people don't have that privilege to do so. So if you can't like have conversations with your parents like that, It's totally understandable, and there's ways for you to study, such as going to a public library, a park, your backyard, your friend's house, or anywhere that you can find it to be quiet. Because I understand that for us to study and stuff, we need to have our full attention, and sometimes we don't have that privilege. Sixth piece of advice I would give you is study your material from the quizzes, from your exams, from discussions. If you got something wrong, circle. That's what I would do. And I would add on to my notes, learn this thing. It might be on the test, and it will. And I will learn, I'll go back to my teacher, ask them how to do that problem or discussion or test that I missed, so I can retain that information and have a better understanding of that math problem and math in general. Because I feel like sometimes we can be discouraged when we don't do well in the math test. Trust me, I've been there, but it's good because that means that you have more to learn. And that's good because then you can ask your professor, your teacher, your TAs how to do those equations and also do them yourself so you can retain those information. That is a very good thing and should not feel ashamed for failing some equations because you can ask them and get better at it. And lastly, the seventh piece of advice I like to give is believe in yourself, have confidence. It's hard sometimes, but you can do it. If no one tells you you can do it, I believe you can do it. It is very frustrating and hard when you're learning a subject as math because it is so hard and it gets frustrating. I've been there, but I believe that you can do it. And if you have that mindset and you're willing to learn and ask for help, you will do good. Someone who failed statistics 3 times, the 4th time, I got an A, and I never used to get an A in courses or in math. Math is something that I've always struggled with. And when I got an A the 4th time, I literally cried tears of joy because I worked my butt off to get that grade. And if I can do it, you can do it. So I hopefully the advice I give you will make you do good in math. And if not make you do good math, have the self-confidence and the courage to say, you know what, I can do it. To say, you know what, if Jesus de Aguilar failed statistics 3 times and passed the 4th time with an A, so can I. And that's all I want from this video, if anything, that you can do it. You can put your mind to anything, especially with academia and grades. Don't be afraid, and you can do it. So thank you so much for watching my video on how I failed math, specific statistics 3 times and passed an A the 4th time. And hopefully, again, my advice helps you in any type of way. So yeah, bye. Thanks for watching.